Welcome to Proclaim, a presentation of the Catholic Diocese of Alexandria. Join us as we journey together through the Scriptures revealed to us by God.
Good morning and welcome to Proclaim. Again, as we continue preparing for the text of the Gospel, looking at some of the background issues, the question of when it was written is an obvious question that would be helpful, because if we know a general date, or at least a range of dates, we then also can pin that back into what's happening in the history of the period to see whether or not those events that were taking place around that time might have influenced the author's emphasis and the author's content. Most now feel that the Gospel of Mark, as the earliest Gospel, was probably written somewhere in the mid-60s, probably before the year 70, because that was when the temple was destroyed, when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, and Mark's Gospel does not seem to have that very much in a prominent position. If in fact, as is suspected, that the Gospel of Mark was at least in some circulation and might have been used as one of the sources that Matthew and Luke have used, then it obviously means Matthew is later. Most tend now to date the Gospel somewhere in the 80s, maybe about mid-80s, far enough after some of those events that seem to have shaped it. For example, after the destruction of Jerusalem, the Pharisees were the ruling power, and they determined that anyone that declared Jesus the Messiah would be excluded, and therefore the Christian community no longer had protection under Roman law as a Jewish community. Very significant.
This program was brought to you by Antoon Enterprises.